That's some goose.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Ducks Unlimited. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver. And let me tell you something, Andy. We got on with us today. We got some Hollywood on the line with us today. The man with the beautiful hair, the guy that's got a beard that could be in ZZ Top. He's busting the shades out. And the best part, folks, you got to go to YouTube. The man has got his chest shaved. I'm telling you right now, Mr. Wade Shoemaker. Wade, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. But for the record, I am hairless on my chest naturally.
Naturally.
Lucky bastard. I look like I'm a fucking gorilla everywhere now. The older I've gotten, the less hair I got on my head and the more I got on my ass and my back and my shoulder. Everywhere.
Yeah, I can thank my grandma for that. She's got a lot of American Indian in her, so she's winning.
Well, you're the prettiest guy on the podcast today, Wade. I got to tell you that. And
I don't know. That's debatable, Jeff.
Well, between you and Andy, I'm just an old bald-headed man now. So,
you say that.
You're from the backwoods of Louisiana right now. You've been teal hunting, and it's 90-something degrees, and you're swatting mosquitoes. Did you see?
Was earlier for sure.
Did you see any alligators?
Nah, yeah, we saw a couple this morning on the way to, like when we were about 4 a.m. We was in the little canal, and we saw a couple trying to cross.
Oh, bullshit.
But yeah, they was in there. Which I mean, I was in South Louisiana last week, and we were scouting the spot down there trying to shoot some, but as soon as we come out of the cut, I mean, we counted like 8 or 10 within the first quarter mile of the stretch, and I just quit counting.
My teal hunt would be over.
Are you in waders around them?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't that day. We were just scouting. But, I mean, if we see them, I would much rather deal with an alligator than a snake.
Yes,
yes. You know, so, like I actually had to kick a snake today. Like, it was swimming up to me, and my buddy was like, hey, Wade, there's a snake. And I looked down, realized it was just a water snake. It wasn't anything poisonous. But so I just kind of shoot him away. And then the dude kept coming. And then I actually kicked him. And then like literally launched him out of the water with my foot. And as soon as he hit the water, he turned around and swam right back at me. So we shot him.
Okay, hold on a second. What time of day is this? Like, is the sun up enough to where you can see what you're dealing with? Or is this kind of like the low light,
That was probably 8 a.m.
That's low light, I think, isn't it? The sun's not all the way up, is it?
No, that's plenty. That's plenty.
It's plenty to identify a snake in the water swimming at you?
Yeah, they're all fucking rattlesnakes at that time.
They're all water moccasins to me.
Well, he died either way, so I mean, there you go.
Holy, I can't do that. I don't mess with snakes.
Nah. It ain't bad. I mean, like I don't like them, but to the point, I would rather an alligator because they're gonna let you know they're there. You know what I'm saying?
A snake will?
You can physically see them. No, an alligator, snake, they'll slither real quietly on the water and they'll just sneak up on you in the leaves or the reeds. Alligator, he's there.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but water moccasins are very, very aggressive.
They are scary. I hate them. I'll shoot every one of them.
But how do you identify? How can you tell a water moccasin on the water?
You look at their head. If they're like a big triangle, like a biscuit head, they call them. Like, that's a no. Big no, pal.
But, okay, so what's the closest encounter that you've had to a water moccasin?
I sat beside one during duck season several years ago, but it was frozen. Like everything was frozen, and he was curled up on a side in between some cypress knees. And I sat down, I looked over, and he was right beside me. But I mean, I could have petted him on the head, and he wouldn't have moved, But it scared me enough where I jumped up and I got out of there. So yeah, I was done. I didn't even look. Didn't even shoot him. I got up and left so fast, and I forgot to even turn around and shoot at him. I left.
Because they'll get in like big balls when they're breeding, don't they? Is that when they're breeding? When they get in like these big knots?
I don't know. I don't really watch those videos a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't blame you. If I had to deal with those on a regular basis, I would just push that as far out of my mind as possible.
Yeah, no, I don't like messing with them, man. If I can tell it's a water snake or something harmless, I'll let it ride. But like if I'm not sure, it's the deader the better.
Have you ever had a gator nose you or anything, or come up close to you while you're on waders?
No, man. They're not going to really mess with you a lot unless you're like in their pond or something. But like, I've never had an issue with them. Most of the time, you go in there with a boat and you're hanging around, you got your pals throwing decoys out. They're not going to come around. They know that, like, really they just kind of scatter out. I mean, they're more worried about you than you are about them. And then, I mean, I guess that's debatable too.
See, I hear that a lot, but I don't trust that.
That's what every man with one leg says. It
won't bother
you.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't trust that line of reasoning.
Fuck that. There is no way.
Yeah. Now, I've only gotten scared once, and it's because we parked a four-wheeler on the edge of a pond and threw decoys out, ran back to the bank because there was one in the water, like close to us, because it was coming at us. He wasn't coming at us. We thought he was. And we got back to the four-wheeler, and when we got there, we heard one like that growl noise. It's not a growl. It's a weird noise to make, but it was Mama, and we didn't know where she was, and that's why we got scared, because we had no idea where she was.
Yeah, you'd hear another growl. It'd be me shitting in my pants.
It'd be a guttural.
There's no way. Them some bitches survived the dinosaurs. That's a bad mamma jam. I ain't fucking with them. I had the worst
Yeah, I'm not messing with them.
I had a freaking beaver one time. I was tube fishing at a pond and had a beaver hit me in the leg. God, you always scared the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And I
am scared of those. They'll bite your hand off real quick, or fingers or something.
Snapping turtles are bad too. Everything in the swamp's bad.
Yep.
Well, when a beaver hits you in the leg,
it's not nice.
when you're a young man, about 18, 19 years old, and a beaver hits you in your lower groinal area, let me tell you something right now. You see your life flashing between your eyes. I'm telling you.
I mean, it did.
Oh, I scared the shit out of me. Oh my God. Whew.
Everything you're living for is about to be
taken
no
shit.
At that point.
Why else would I want to live? I mean, God Almighty, I don't want to be.
That's what I'm
I'd
saying.
have been the first transgender then. Hell no.
First transgender waterfowl.
No, yeah.
We'd have a new.
Waterfowl and change real quick.
Yeah, I'd be into fucking decorating and shit.
We'd have a new YouTube title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
First trend.
It wouldn't be hunting out. Wouldn't be Stanfield hunting. It'd be Stanfield home decor.
Oh, I'm telling you that. What a miserable thing to happen to a man. Can you imagine getting your old pecker walloped off? That I mean, why would you want to live?
I'm watching Game of Thrones, and they do that quite often on that show.
They cut off their peckers.
Yeah,
a lot of eunuchs.
I mean, there's some folks I think it would save them a lot of trouble if it went on ahead and got it knocked out. But like, it'd be tough.
I'd have a whole lot more money. I'm telling you right now.
But a whole lot less fun.
Oh, there wouldn't be nothing to talk about. Matter of fact, all of my bad decisions and fun times in my life usually were caused because of that down there. I mean,
I can't disagree.
I mean, it's the whole thing. If you go through life and you haven't made bad decisions based on your penis, then you have not had no kind of life at all.
If it hadn't got you in trouble once or twice.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean,
you
Jesus.
Lived.
Oh, the adventures.
It's going to happen more than once for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
That's all the best stories. Hold my beer and watch this, and hey, baby, touch that. So.
Oh, well, that's about how most conversations at least get started.
Yep, supposed to when you're young. So, what adventures is Wade Shoemaker, the great photographer and video? What do you got going on right now? You filming a series? What are you doing?
No, man. I was in Beaumont last weekend filming a hunt for a place called Pipkin Ranch. And we were there with Migra and filmed a hunt there. And then I drew, and really and true, that's the only work I've got until end of October, middle of I don't have any work lined up until November gets here. So I'm just kind of doing my own thing and enjoying these, 30, 40 days that I don't have to be anywhere. Because for the last 45 or 50 days, I've either been at shows or had work to do. And man, I'm glad that's kind of chilled out.
It's amazing how videographers and photographers have changed this sport that we're in, because a long time ago, a freelance photographer, videographer didn't have a lot of work. I don't think that I knew of. Well, now the most interesting guys in our sport are all videographers and photographers, just about.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I think a lot of that has to do with just social media has a lot to do with it because there's such a need to feed that monster. And then the other side is we're such visual people with no attention span, which is really contradictory, but we've got to make, like, it's just made it interesting. Like, who can keep our attention for 7 seconds more than one time?
Right.
That's really what it boils down to. Not like who can hold us for a while, but it's like who can hold us multiple times for not very long. And I think that's the people that do well.
So it's a repetitions game more than it is how long can we get them there?
I think so because it all boils down to consistency. Like everybody can have a one hit or a really, really good one-off deal. But then I think it just kind of separates the men from the boys on the ones that can sit there and do it over and over again, whether it's for 7 seconds or, whatever. I think that's what makes it interesting as anything.
I finally had, so the algorithms have obviously changed on Instagram. Pictures don't do well.
Yeah.
They're moving towards a video kind of format. But every once in a while you'll hit one. You'll hit a picture and like it comes without any kind of warning. And we had Sam Soholt on last week, and he said the hashtags that you use can actually throttle you down based on the hashtags that you use. And I didn't know that.
Yep. Because the algorithm reads it and they're like, oh, you're one of those guys. So,
right.
It's wild. And honestly, I've gotten to a point where I don't really use hashtags a ton anymore because they're going to hurt you as much as they're, more than they're going to help you. And I don't really think they help you much anymore. And that's just my opinion, but I mean, they're kind of, like you said, like the algorithm kind of does what it does. And if you're not playing the game it wants you to play, then you might as well just go ahead and, take a back seat.
I just always hashtag everything Biden Harris now.
There you
gets
go.
a lot of play that way.
There you go.
So
you could do that. There was a trick on stories. You could, put some of those stickers on your story at some point, like whatever stickers were going on in the political world that were more left and right. And you could throw it on there and it would throw stuff, like it would just trigger the algorithm that you're one of their guys and you would get a little more exposure. You could look at the reach numbers like before the sticker and then after the sticker, and it was just way more.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, like, that's a thing.
You got to play the game, I guess.
Yep. I'm trying to play the game.
Yep, we did it.
You want to.
And we did it.
I've noticed lately that, or in the last year or so, people are not as fired up about seeing big stacks of dead birds as they are the character of what it takes to kill a bird has become more popular.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll agree with that. And honestly, like, I don't like doing a whole lot of bird, like pile photos are my least favorite thing to do. Like after I started doing the photography thing, it's just like, unless there's a really cool place to do it, like at that point, like I would just rather, take a lot of photos of guys holding them in their hand, walking across the field than I would stacking them up on a hay bale and taking a picture of them. I think people understand that you're going to kill them or you're not. So the killing's only cool if you're trying to, sell a hunt. But like when it comes to what people actually want to digest, they just want to see the story, little bitty pieces at a time. And I think that's what's kind of like what you're referring to. I think it's not necessarily taken over, but I think it has it's slowly eaten away or like the people that just want to see dead animals.
Yeah. So how do you stay in such tip-top shape during hunting season? Because you got quite the physique on you. You don't? You let it all go?
No, it's a back and forth thing. So I'll go hard from like February or March all the way through October, as far as the gym goes, and then I try to keep myself in there like 3 days a week during season. That's like if I get there 3 days a week,
we lost him. Going through.
I can do, but it's normally like 1 or 2 days a week tops.
So that's the key is the gym. See,
and I just go real
that's
hard.
Where you're missing it, Jeff.
Yeah, that's what my problem is. The gym is what I keep missing out on. I cannot figure that shit out. It's the gym. Okay.
Yeah, you got to go there.
Yeah.
And you got to move stuff around, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it helps, but I'm not saying it works for everybody.
We got an older friend of ours, Steve Barber, and he goes to the gym in the mornings a lot when he's not running into trees and parked cars and stuff. He's 74 years old. But he was going to cardiac rehab. He had a heart attack, and he used to go to cardiac rehab all the time, and they moved, so he quit going to that gym. Well, he took donuts there one morning. He was in that area, so he took 3 or 4 boxes of donuts from Dunkin' Donuts down there. And the nurse chewed on his ass. He's like, listen, these people are 70 freaking years old. If they want to eat a fucking donut, let them have a donut. But he took donuts to the gym. I thought, that's right. My kind of man right there. So,
bro, there's nothing wrong with that. I've eaten donuts probably 5 times in the last 8 days.
The waterfowl diet is like this thing of it's properly maintained. It's caffeine, sugar, and just all the gassed up goodies that you could ever hope for when you were a kid.
So, Wade, who are you?
Dude, it is what's available.
Who are some of your influences of the guys that got you into this game?
Man, I don't know about into it. I mean, like, so I started just kind of liking photos, just like, and I don't know whose it was or is back then. I just like the idea of photos. Like, it did start with the pile pictures. As when I was younger, I realized that, like, I didn't want them just thrown on the truck bed, belly down. I wanted to make them look kind of presentable, and that kind of slowly got to that point. But I ended up buying a GoPro, and I liked that. I thought that was cool. Really, I guess like a Lee Chose would be a big like, man, that dude does cool stuff. I want to, how does he do that? And I think that was part of it. But minus that, dude, it's just like I got to doing it and realized I liked it. And I had some pals scattered between like Oklahoma and Arkansas. And we just kind of all did it together at the same time. And I think it was at the beginning of that whole like content creator baby boom. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was a boom of content creators that like back in 2016 or 15 or something like that, when they all just come out of the woodworks. And man, like we all just kind of did it together, and it kind of kept us a little more tight knit with each other. And then from there, that just kind of escalated. Yeah, I mean, there's really no real answer for me there. Not a right answer. I think it was just one of those things that I enjoyed it. We enjoyed doing it together. Some cool stuff happened, and we were on the front end of that wave, and timing worked out.
That's the thing. If you can, and that's, I mean, it's also very difficult, but if you can identify a trend before it happens and be on that front edge,
yep,
you can set yourself up forever.
100%. 100%.
Well, you can't pick a better person than Lee Chose.
No, I mean, he's the best at what he does. Like that's what people ask, like whatever they want to ask. And I'm just like, well, that's the guy, it doesn't get any better than him in that world. And he sets the bar. And I mean, maybe there's somebody that disagrees, but like, you're wrong, So, but no, he's incredible. And I think that's the guy that if you want to look at like the pinnacle or the epitome of like waterfowl marketing, photography, whatever, like he's it. You don't have to strive to be him, but like you can strive to like, okay, this is the kind of work that I want to do, and you can glean a lot. Don't try to be Lee, but like glean from him and do you, but like understand that you're a better you than you are
it's
him.
Pretty interesting too. I can't even take a fucking picture with my phone. And two of my better friends, two who I consider good friends of mine in life, is Lee Chose and Wyman Menzer, and they're two of the best photographers in the world.
Oh well. Yep, I agree with that. Yeah, Wyman's a stud. I follow him. He doesn't follow me.
He doesn't follow me either, and he's been on the podcast like 10 times. So.
He does. He does follow me though.
It is what it is.
Oh,
on Instagram, he does.
Jeff.
Yes, okay. Really.
That's fine.
I am.
He's Jeff's over here making power moves.
I'm locally.
Yeah,
he's in a power stance, right? He's in a power stance right now.
I'm locally known.
Yeah.
Yep,
locally known.
I don't.
Okay. Hey, that's better.
I need to talk
not.
to Wyman's guy and see what I can do to.
Wyman is his guy. That's what's funny about Wyman.
I think that's why that I hadn't been followed back is, I don't know that he gets Instagram like totally, but I don't either. So he's old school.
Wyman's at a place now that he can retire and do whatever he wants, and he don't care. That's what's cool about Wyman, and that's what's cool about Lee. They do their thing, and they don't care about anything else.
Yeah,
I mean,
They do what they want to do and who they want to do it with, and that's the way it should be at the end of the day.
That's when you know that you've made it. Is when you can say no.
Yep.
You've made it. That's when you know.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a qualification.
And it was there was a guy, Ray was his name. What's his last name?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
That was at Game Fair, and he just got the cover for
Don't put me on the spot.
I just saw it.
Ray.
Yes, 406.
Oh, the guy from Montana.
Yeah,
Great
Baloo, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that his last name? Ray Baloo?
I don't think that's Bill U, maybe.
Bill
I
U.
think so.
It's
I don't
not
think
Baloo.
it.
Bill U.
Yeah. It's like BILEAU.
Yes, Bill U. The guy that's a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
He was at Game Fair.
Yes.
Great, super great dude. Been on the podcast with Shrek.
Yes.
He's
He
incredible,
just got
too.
the cover to Delta. And they were talking. It was a picture of a mallard coming in, and he showed it to Lee before he submitted it, and Lee just like totally just in like 30 seconds told him everything that he could do to make that picture just a little bit sharper. And I happened to sit in on it, and I was like, motherfucker. Like, you just totally took this picture, and 30 seconds, he was like, you got to do this, 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 and this, lower this, and that's what they'll want.
That's called knowledge and wisdom and doing it forever. Like, that's the things that, like, see, I've been doing this for, like, this is year 5, and I can't even scratch the surface of that kind of wisdom. You know, like, I could do it. I could do it, but like I'm gonna have to go through it and figure it out. I'm not gonna be able to just like look at a picture and be like, oh, do this, 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 and this. Like I may be able to tell you a couple little notches to hit, but like I'm not gonna be able to do it like that. Not even close.
The man's a genius. He made me the Squad Fest duck calling contest champion. You know, I had a check with my name on it and everything. Just bam, took that picture, put my fat ass behind it, and there I was. And you know,
mobile deposit that dude.
Hey, I had people in town ask me about that in Knox City and be like, "Damn, Jeff,
really?
I heard you won $5,000 this weekend." So, well, it is what it is, bud.
Sure did.
Yep. They don't know. I don't even know which end of
you got it.
I don't even know which end of a call to call. So, where does Wade see himself 10 years from now? What's the plan?
Poof. So it's a weird thing, like because there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So it's funny you ask something like that. There's several things that I've got going on behind the scenes that only a few people know about, and I can tell people. But so we're doing one thing we're doing is a media camp, and what we've done is sold slots or categories, and those categories are like a shotgun shell or a map app or camo or decoys. But each slot has its own deal, and our first one is going to be this year at the end of November, and that's going to be a thing that turns into it's going to be waterfowl and whitetail, and then like waterfowl, whitetail, and upland, waterfowl, whitetail fishing and upland, and that's going to be a thing where in the next 3 to 5 years we have those things happening across the country. Where basically we come in, we bring brands in and a representative from those brands, and we photograph or create videos, vertical and horizontal, for them to use. And if we can get 4 of those running a year, that's a pretty good like launch pad for a few things. But that's step one. And then there's also a thing I've been working on. It's an app. We're just waiting on the app to be finished. The website's ready to go. We just haven't pushed it really that hard until the app gets finished, but it's called Go Roam. And Go Roam is a land leasing app that lets you lease property, like private property, one day at a time. So basically, if you were to go to say like Colorado and you want to go fly fishing on this private stretch of river, but you can't get access to it without entering on public and walking 7 miles up the river to get to it. Well, what we're going to do is go in and hopefully have these landowners give you access for X amount of dollars a day. And instead of you having to walk 7 miles or float, whatever, you can just walk straight onto the bank and per pole pay X amount of dollars and fish that private stretch of river. That also goes with whether it's deer or like even stock ponds or something like that. And unfortunately, waterfowl is my thing, but we really don't want to push on the waterfowl side because they're so fickle. And we don't like, that's a good way to get a bad review, right? Like people lease out a day lease to hunt. It's not there and they're mad at you because it's not there. So we're not going to push on that real hard. But when it comes to deer and fish and stuff like that, we're gonna hit the ground running when that app launches.
How are you going to get the landowners on board with this? Like, are you yourself going to have to make the contacts, or is there going to be a way where they can enroll in this program?
Yeah, so it's going to be word of mouth is going to be our best, but we've got some marketing stuff that we're building up right now to launch. And I mean, that even goes to like printouts at co-ops, like things like that. Like, we're trying to reach the farmer or whatever it is, and the landowner, whatever, and mailers and things like that. And they can go on our app, and they can actually, when the app is ready, they can do it on the website now, but basically go in and register like, hey, I'm this person. This is my property, yada, yada, yada. Here it is. I mean, you take Airbnb, and I know there's a lot of people like we're the Airbnb of hunting, and they are in a way, but I mean, this is like identical because it's literally like you make an Airbnb their house and hunt the deer standing behind the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's kind of how that works, but that's what we're pushing on right now. And really that's hopefully like what I'm really working on in 10 years. I hope it's grown and sold and I'm done. But there's that, and there's several other little things. But those are the two main ones that I see myself like either working or living off of in the next 10 years.
The apps are, it's crazy because even a year ago or 2 years ago, nobody had an app. And now like you're the third or fourth person that's got a different spin on something in the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that's what the next frontier is your own app.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it like, I think it's just everything's so digital, and if it's not accessible or efficient or convenient, like nobody wants it, you know, the way everything's going, because the harder it is to get to, the less people that are going to mess with it. So if you make it easy and you get on there and it's user friendly and you just navigate it real easy, people are going to be all about it, but you've got to make it as easy as possible for those people or it's not going to work.
I think streaming TV is setting us up for some of that. It's taking the failure away and making it easier, because we got a new TV in my office, and I wanted to hook my YouTube up from my house to watch the football game here Saturday.
Your YouTube TV account.
My YouTube TV account, and I had to jump through.
Oh,
I had to jump through freaking hoops to get my YouTube TV account on my TV. I had to have it on the TV, had to go to my phone, push a button. Then I had to get my laptop out and push buttons and do it to put a code number in. And it took 15 freaking minutes. And I'm telling you right now, I was at the point where I was ready to rip the fucking TV off the wall, take it out in the parking lot, drag it around 3 or 4 fucking times and tell them to come pick the son of a bitch up. But once I got it to work and then I got my code and I put it in, I thought, oh, that wasn't so bad.
He'd had enough.
But my patience was getting real thin. Well, young people like y'all don't have a problem with that. The old people like me, but once I worked myself through that, I thought, this ain't so bad, because I love the how easy it is to use now. It's teaching old people like me, the dinosaurs, to be a little patient and work things out. But your thing about making it easy will keep the old people involved, because I was at the point I was about to not have no fucking TV in my office. I was to that point. I thought, fuck it.
He was at that point.
It's just going to be a decoration on the wall. It looks good, but I don't know how to use it. But so making it easy. Is there a market on the fishing? Because that's something I don't ever talk about. Stock ponds. There's got to be a market for people that want to fish, and that might be a big market now that I don't know nothing about. But if you've got a good bass tank on your place, I think there'd be a lot of people that would be willing to pay X amount of dollars a year to have access. Maybe it's $1,000 a year, $500 for that pond. I don't know what the going rate is for a pond.
I don't either, but that's part of what we're looking like. So like the stock ponds are going to be something that if they want to do a year lease deal, that's fine. But our goal is to really harp on the day lease side of things, because it allows more people access. And like, for me, you've got a lot of people that truly just can't, like, if it's $1,000, that's not a lot of money for a lot of people, but like it is a lot of money for a lot of people, So like, if there's a way for us to make it to where there's a place where, like, say a father and a son can go, spend $100 and catch, 10 bass out of this pond, they all, whatever restrictions landowner wants to put on it, whatever, but you give this father and son a chance to go to a pond and fish for $100. When they catch these fish, because it's stocked, and they may not have the $1,000 to spend to keep it for the whole year, but they can burn 100 to go have that one day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, not going to knock it and not going to not try to have people doing year leases, but like my why in this business is to make sure that like people that normally couldn't afford it can. Because if I didn't have like family land growing up, I wouldn't have been able to hunt, you know, like I wouldn't have been able to shoot squirrels or a deer every now and then, like just wouldn't have happened. And I know there's the majority, maybe not the majority, but there's a lot of people out there that's still that way. And if we can come in and like cause, I don't know, or create a difference in their life to where they can come and spend $100 and go sit in or $200 or whatever it is, go sit in a deer stand or anything. I think that'll, you know, if we can make a difference that way, I think we've done our job, whether we make a bunch of money or not.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, you know, it is an expensive sport. I mean, when you look at just the equipment that you have to buy, especially like waterfowl hunters, fishing, you can get a fishing pole and you can be pretty well set up. But waterfowl hunting, you got to have calls, you got to have decoys, you got to have blinds, you've got to have access to land. Like it's all, you got to have shotgun shells, shotguns. It's almost never
if you
ending.
Can find any of that.
The big market in our game is fishing that we don't in the outdoor market because it's so many people do it. When you like where y'all live at, how far are y'all from any kind of salt water?
Oh, I'm probably 3.5, 4 hours from saltwater.
But when you get around any place that's saltwater, you see there's people fishing everywhere. Every inlet's got people
in the ditches.
Yes, everywhere. And we don't think of that because waterfowl hunting is such a tight bonded deal, and it's in different areas, but it's an expensive hobby. Fishing, like you said, is cheap.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy a Zepco 303, I think that's what they're called, you can probably buy a Zepco fishing pole for $50.
Well, even the license side of things, I mean, like a resident, I mean, you spend $20 or $25 and you've got your saltwater and freshwater, you know, and it's like for a resident in Louisiana, so it's like, or whatever it is, it's not a lot of money, but you're spending a year, I think it's probably $75 or 70 something dollars to hunt ducks, you know, after you factor in your stamp and your WMA and then your resident small game and all those little things like that. Like you're spending $70+ you know. I bought
my hunting license Saturday morning here. What was that? Because I put it on your car.
$100.
It was $100.
Yeah.
To buy my license, a super combo,
you did the super combo,
federal
which,
stamp.
you know, I wouldn't recommend, but whatever.
I buy a super combo
in
case I want to fish. But it's $100.
When was the last time you fished?
I don't know, but I may want to go. You never know.
I want that option.
Yeah. I go to the coast.
Yeah.
You go to the coast, but you don't fucking fish.
I haven't fished in a while.
I think I was a junior or senior in high school the last time that you went fishing on the coast. 2004, 2005.
Nah, I've been since then, maybe. No, we fished in Florida.
What the fuck is the Texas license going to do you good in Florida?
I bought one there too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, if you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I guess.
I fished in Mexico.
You know?
Okay.
A couple trips ago.
Okay.
I didn't even buy a license. I was fucking running dirty. So anyway.
Just looking like a pirate.
Yeah, I was. Had the patch on mine, everything.
They'll let you. Mexico doesn't care.
I need one.
Look like I
had a bug fly in my eye this morning, y'all, and I'm telling you, I thought I was down for the count. I'm talking. And we were just standing. We weren't even in, like, we rode the boat, didn't run into any of them, and that sucker hit me about right here. And I just dropped everything and just did this. And I felt my ears throbbing. I thought, man, I was like, I'm done. This is where it is.
I took a branch to the eye.
It didn't.
About 4.
That's not.
I had LASIK eye surgery, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks later. I was going to get the last duck of the day, and I kind of forced myself forward, and I pushed this cedar tree out of the way, and I've got it with one hand. I reached down to get the duck with the other, and as I reached down, one of the branches kind of goes loose from my hand, and the fucking thing caught me here, and immediately it looked like it was like I was underwater on one eye, and I was like, "This is great." I just got LASIK. Now I'm gonna lose an eye, all because of the last duck of the day.
Was it It was the same. So you had LASIK on both eyes, just one?
Yeah, both eyes. I had LASIK on.
Okay. God.
But I was luckily I was hunting with another guy. I told him, I was like, listen, I don't know what's happened. I can't see out of this eye. It's a Saturday, of course, so like there's no optometrist close to Knox. It's close to the Boondocks. It's going to be open on a Saturday, so drive all the way to Abilene, an hour away with one eye because I got to close this one.
Hurting.
Look like dumbass Dan Crenshaw.
Hurting the whole time, and get there, and they said it looked like a broom had swept across my eye. Is what it looked like. And they said, give it a couple days and it'll heal up in your vision. It said it didn't didn't mess up anything with the LASIK. That's all good. I guess it had kind of healed enough to where, it didn't reopen because I think they take your lens off of your eyeball and do whatever, but said all that looked good. And a couple days later, it started to, the next morning I could pretty well see out of it. And then it just gradually got better.
Yeah.
But
that's tough.
It was bad. I was freaking out, and I don't handle things like if it's a little catastrophe, I'll make it a big one in my mind. So I was like, fuck it. Is it?
They're
going to take it.
Is it just going to, they're going to take my
They're going to take it. They're going to take it.
Marble.
You could have been in Congress.
I could have been.
I patch McCain.
That's hilarious.
I could have been. I missed my calling by that much. But, and it was fucked up. It wasn't good.
Yeah, you got two of them.
My stuff's not
well,
fun.
Jeff, they gave you two for a reason.
No.
I would never been able to shoot again.
Yeah.
I'd have had to shoot left-handed my entire life.
You probably would shoot better.
I'm left-handed. It's not bad.
See, my youngest is going to be left-handed, and I worry about him. He's going to have to drag his ink whenever he writes.
I'm telling you right now, left-handed.
Going to come home with a dirty palm every day.
That I never understood that. I thought I had shitty pens. Like I didn't know. Like I was like, why am I the only one? And then nobody told me that you're like left. Like I started learning cursive in like second grade, and then like whatever. I got a little older, and I was like, man, what is going on? And then turns out it's just how it is, and I didn't know, but I felt better about it when I figured it out.
It's funny watching a left-handed quarterback like Tua. I watched him Sunday. Looks so fucked up with a left-handed quarterback. Boy, he's fucking good, though. I'm telling you, boy can throw the ball.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
He's literally just turned the other way. It's like a southpaw boxer. It's the same thing. They're just
it just looks so completely different when he's rolling out or something. Thought, that's a hard throw. Oh, that's normal for him. He's rolling to the left.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing, Andy?
I'm dicking with your sound, Jeff.
Oh, my sound's off today?
No, it just I've been just go. Leave me alone.
Are you good? Where are we traveling to? You go to Rustin's and hunt in Wichita all the time. Where else are you going this year?
I really don't have. I'm there for like 32 days a year. So I don't have a whole lot of room to plan stuff around. Our media camp's going to be in Nebraska, and that'll be the end of November. If I make it to Worlds, I'll be in Stuttgart for a day or two. Looking like I may be in North Dakota the end of October, meeting up with some pals up there. And then if everything goes like smooth, I may early like November 1 through like 5 or 6, I may end up being in like Nevada. I don't know how you say it.
They get pissy too.
Nevada. I know. That's why I'm scared to just say it. But like that word, I'll be in that state chasing chucker.
Oh, that'd be a fun hunt.
Shit.
Never done that. I'm told it's not going to be fun, that it's going to suck and it's going to whoop.
Why?
Yeah, like they say it is because it's tough. Just like the terrain is rough, and then like you may or may not, like shoot a bird. So it's like it's just tough hunting is what they say.
I didn't know that.
As far as upland goes, it's one of the more challenging birds. That's what they say. I mean, like, look, I'm just going off of like what they say. Like as waterfowlers, we talk about how crappy it can be out there and all this other stuff. Could be the same thing for them. I don't know. But this guy that I'm going with, he's pretty studly fella. And he was like, oh, we could do a 5-day 50 mile.
Fuck.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, just drop you off in the middle of this spot, me and you with some tents. And then we'll just have somebody take our truck somewhere else and we'll go, we'll walk to our truck.
50 miles away.
Sounds like a terrible idea, but but I think it'll be fun, like don't pack a lot of food because there's a lot of fish, a lot of animals you can eat. And, I don't know. I mean, it'd be fun.
Sam Soho told us that. No, it was,
Donnie Vincent.
Donnie Vincent.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be that wild. Like that man's on a different level. But I mean, like, I think that would be a nice introduction to, like, hey, off the grid, 50 miles. That means if something really goes down, like, they can get a helicopter in pretty quick. Like, you're not too far from civilization, but like, you're also not like in the Arctic, like, or anything like that. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. So I can tell you what we may or may not do. And the truth is, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to show up and be like, well, which way do we walk?
Right.
I have left Nevada many times in my life feeling battered and bruised. So I hope your results coming home are better than mine are.
Now, were you hunting?
No. Fuck no, I was in Vegas gambling.
Okay. Yeah, okay. See, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be there. But I was about to say, that would suck, because I bet you it'd beat you up way worse than a bush or something sticking you in the leg.
I've been to Vegas more than 100 times in my life, and I can think of 5 times that I left there a whole lot happier than when I got there.
Wishing that you were still staying there.
It's like, some bitch, I can went to Tahiti this week for the same amount of money I lost. But they don't.
Yeah, but those 5 times you won, you could have went to Tahiti twice.
Yeah, but in Tahiti they wouldn't call me Mr. Stanfield and pick me up at a limo at the airport either. So it had its.
Touche.
Losing comes with some options there. So, have you been to Nevada much?
Never.
Oh, young man, it is the shithole of the world.
Yeah.
If God was going to make, the anywhere in the United States an ashtray, it would be in Nevada.
That's not encouraging.
No, it's. Now Tahoe and stuff would be nice. I'm assuming you're going to be in the southern part of Nevada shooting. Is that right?
Looking at flying into Reno.
Oh, that wouldn't be bad. It's pretty up there. That's where the Donners had to eat each other's ass. So good luck to you in case a blizzard hits them.
In Reno?
Well, it wasn't very far away from there. Truckee, Donner's Pass is not a long way from Lake Tahoe.
Is it not?
Yeah. Do you know about the Donners?
Oh,
no
my
idea.
God.
I had no idea what you're
You
talking
got to read
about.
the book. It's called Ordeal by Hunger. So they were going to go to California back in the 1800s, and they make it to the Sierra Nevadas.
Yep.
And a blizzard rolls in, and they get stuck in this pass, and they end up having to eat each other to stay alive.
Not like in a kinky way, because when I said you was going to be eating ass and Donner, you were like, "What the hell?"
That's what threw me off.
Like when Little John dies, like you're cutting his leg off and sticking it on the fire so that you don't die. It's a crazy fucking story.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like you gotta eat, I guess. But man,
well, I hope your buddy's got a little more fat on him than you do. In case if he goes down first, you'll enjoy yourself a little bit more. But
I mean, if we got to eat each other after within 50 miles, I think we've got bigger problems.
Yeah.
Why'd they eat each other? They were 30 miles from they could have called. We could have got an Uber out there. Yeah. Why are they eating one another?
Signal, what?
Just some kinky fucking kinky fuckers from Louisiana is what that shit is.
Why'd they eat each other?
We don't get out much, man.
They could have.
We don't know any better.
They could have called an Uber and it'd have been fine, but they didn't. They chose not to.
Something.
Yeah, then you're going to be in a better place.
God.
If this was around Las Vegas, that 50 miles would be fucking miserable. You'd be wanting them aliens at Area 51 to snag your ass. It'd be a miserable time.
Oh, yeah, I'm not trying to do all that.
Have you seen the Rougarou in Louisiana?
The Rougarou? Yeah. I mean, probably. I don't know.
What the fuck's a Rougarou? Is that their Bigfoot?
That's their Bigfoot.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question.
Pretty much.
People ask me that all the time. They want me to ask this all the time. You stay on a lot of days in the woods. What's the weirdest shit you've ever seen or encountered?
Man, so a couple things. Like one time we were hunting the place. It's all on public too. Like, 'cause we hunt a bunch of public up here. Like whether it's by like a 4-wheeler or like a boat, whatever. But one time we were riding and we got to a spot we were hunting and we set up and we had everything sitting down and we thought it was a bear at first. Because we have a few of those around, but like it was like not your average black bear size. And this sucker, I mean, like this isn't super weird, but it was kind of scary for us. But like we were hanging out doing our thing, and then all of a sudden this thing comes through the woods, and we shine our light, it's shining eyes or whatever, and it's like I don't know 6-7 foot tall walking through here with 2 eyes just walking around, and limbs, trees, and all this stuff like it's moving, so it's not just like something reflecting. And I mean, it just scared us and then just rolled out. Like it didn't come at us or anything. It was just like, I'm here, just letting you know. And then rolled out. But I think the craziest, truly, like the first thing that popped in my head when you said that, we were on the same public ground, just a different section. And we were riding down a high line looking to see like how high the water was. Mm-hmm. And we come through there and there was you're not supposed to enter this place until like 4 a.m., right? And you're not supposed to have anything going on like fires or anything like that, not legally. Well, we drove down this high line and there was a fire. We saw it through the woods and it's right on the edge of the water. But like we drive through there and we see it and there's people around it, like not just like warming themselves up, like they're standing around it, like doing their thing, whatever that thing is. And this is in the woods. So it's not like a big pasture where they're having some kind of like meeting, right? And we drive through there and we're like, holy crap, like what was that? So now we're scared. We're both 19, years old on a four-wheeler. And we go past it and we're rolling and we see it. And then we go check the water and we come back and we're zooming back through. Fire's still there. People are gone.
Oh shit.
Like gone. So at this point, we load our guns and we're like, well, whatever walks out's getting shot. Like, I don't care. Like, we know where our people are. We know there's nobody driven in on a four-wheeler. If they walk out these woods, we're just going to have to shoot them. Like, there's no, whether we would have like manned up or not, but that was what was going through our head. Like, these are demons.
Right.
Like, we're going to have to shoot the devil's kids. And, yeah. Like we never saw them again, and it was just one of those things like, man, what really was going on there?
Yeah.
Were these, like people on drugs just strung out doing their thing, but like they scattered quick. Like, I mean, like cockroaches and the light turns on,
Just scattered.
And just scattered. Cause we drove by them, they were there. We drove back and they were just gone. And we never saw anybody else out there again. There was no other ATV side by side, nothing. They just scattered. And man, out there, even the local people are kind of scary, so like if you're out there and nobody's just out there by themselves, you don't know what's going on. So I mean, that was one of them. Walked up on a little old meth shack in the woods one time. We were walking to a spot to hunt. That was interesting.
Did they talk to you?
Yeah. No, there wasn't anybody there. We walked through, and it was some public land, and we were doing it was a shortcut, basically. And we went through, and the shack was set up, and we're talking like not a house, like like they built like a little fort you do as a kid, and all this stuff was sitting here, and there was one little bitty light on. We walked up to it, and like tried to veer around it, and we did, but like we walked up to it and we got to it and realized what was going on. And there was nobody there. There was a trailer like on the other side of the property where the people lived. And I was like, all right, time to leave. Like something's going to blow up or we're going to get shot. So we rolled out and didn't get shot, but it's what, like, dude, stuff like that out here. It's just, not normal, but you're almost not surprised, when stuff like that happens. 'Cause you're in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell phone service. And I mean, dude, it's heels have eyes type stuff, because that's,
the demon
just
shit,
weird people.
The demon shit wears me out more than, or not wears me out.
Scares me.
It scares me. I had an encounter recently. You're gonna think this is really weird. I'm sitting down.
You hadn't told me?
No, I hadn't told you. I was at a casino, and this lady comes up, and she's playing next to me. This Mexican lady, and she hits this deal. I mean, she sits down. This thing and just starts hitting, just boom, 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 boom. And I'm kind of watching it, and all of a sudden she hits this, and it spins a bunch, and hits these different games and shit, and she looks over, she goes, oh, looky there. And she points at her number, and she won $666. And I go, oh, that's kind of creepy. She goes, not to me. She goes, I love that number.
Oh.
And my fucking hair stood up and shit. And I'm like, cash out and get fucking leave. But I mean, it really, that's a weird thing though. Shit like that. And,
that's different.
But she's like, ooh, I love that number. It's good to me.
It's a good number to me.
Yeah. I think some of those people don't really understand what they're saying. They just know like the idea behind it, and they don't really realize like they don't understand, I guess, the weight of some of that stuff. And they're just like, oh yeah, just fun.
Yeah, I'll never forget that though. It bothered me that much, because it's something 20 years from now I'll remember that moment, because it really scared the shit out of me. And I thought,
what's the place where all the politicians go?
Washington, D.C.?
No, Bohemian Grove, I think is what it is.
I've heard that name, but what is it?
I think it's where they go and like they'll make this like great big altar. And almost every sitting president was a part of it. It's kind of like like Burning Man, but it's where all the elites go, and they'll have like this great big thing, and then they'll catch it on fire, and then there's a lot of weird shit. Alex Jones actually infiltrated it. Is kind of how he did it back in the early 2000s. I mean, Bush was a part of it. Nixon, Reagan, they're all a part of this. I think it's Bohemian Grove. I'll look it up. But
where's it at?
Jeff, I don't know enough about it to give you any details. I can just kind of give you an overview.
There's a lot of evil people in power in this world that I think sold themselves to the devil. I really do. I believe a lot of them. I think a lot of entertainers, and they're just I just can't fathom or wrap my fingers around stuff. Eternity is eternity. 80 years on this rock is not eternity. Why would you sell yourself?
No.
It's in California. It's a San Francisco-based gentleman's club. Nixon said that it was the faggiest goddamn thing he's ever seen. So I guess they're all like out there.
The faggiest.
It's the faggiest goddamn thing he'd ever seen. So I guess all these guys get out there and
who said that?
Richard Nixon. The Bohemian, an all-male membership includes artists, musicians, as well as prominent business leaders, government officials, and former U.S. presidents, senior media executives, and people of power.
Goodness gracious!
It's a crazy scene. But
have you ever been to a gay bar?
Me?
Yeah,
never.
Have you been to a gay bar ever?
Not even on accident.
Yeah. I went and seen Dan and Shay in concert. That's about as close as I've ever been to a gay bar, I guess.
My wife went to one. That was her favorite thing to do in college. They'd have like bubble parties and shit. And she's like, you don't have to worry about any guys hitting on you there.
That.
So she would go to the gay bar. And she's like, I get free drinks because the girls look at me and I just, tell them I'm not into it. So she's like, I drink for free and it's the best time in the bubble pit. And
that's my daughter-in-law just shocks me. Some of the shit she tells us.
Why? She go to heaven in Lubbock.
She's
know it's still there or not.
She's like my daughter. She's not like a daughter-in-law. She's been around forever. I can't remember life without Jessie being at our house, and to think of her with some lesbians grinding and buying her drinks, I just don't really think much of that.
She'd go with like 6 of her straight friends, and they just kind of have her. They just enjoy the free drinks of the girls that
If Jessie
have a flat top haircut, buying them drinks.
If Jessie was having an affair, would you rather it be with a man or a woman?
A woman.
That wouldn't bother you as much?
Well, I don't know. They're both pretty shitty. Do I get invited if it's the woman? They leave me out?
I don't think you want no part of that.
No, like I'd end up getting just like I'd be on the sideline.
You'd be a
watching.
spectator.
Yeah, they'd forget about me in a hurry.
But would you rather your wife leave you for a man or a woman? If she was going to be cheating on you and you found out, would you rather be a man or a woman?
I'm gonna go woman.
I would say man because you can't compete with other things.
It'd have to be a man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
for me,
I'm pretty.
And I just think, I think it's just like the whole like I had a buddy of mine that dated a girl in high school, and after they dated, she liked girls after that. Still does. Like it's one of those things. Like she didn't. And we made fun of him so much.
He turned her gay.
Like, girl, you turned her out, but like the wrong way. And I think that's where my head goes. Like, man, I don't know if I felt like I did enough to make her like, oh wow, there needs to be a woman here, not a man, because obviously men aren't near as like, I don't know, they're not near as needed as we seem to think they are. No, so they definitely had to be a man.
Because they can.
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
My thing is I'm pretty inadequate, so like you just know like whoever she gets with is gonna be better than me. So it's like fuck. Like that's a given.
Yeah,
that's a given.
I went to school with a guy whose wife left him for this hardcore dyke chick, and it fucked with him big time for a long time. It didn't help that we didn't make fun. We made fun of him all the time either, but it really bothered him. And then the girl who done it has stolen about 2 or 3 other people's wives, and she's not a big fan of mine. I call her sir all the time. What pisses her off?
I mean, why is she mad?
That's what she wants to be. That's what I tell her all the time. She's got penis envy. That's another thing she don't like to be told.
She's taking wives from husbands. I mean, she's got the title of husband at that point.
Yeah.
You are the husband here.
Have you seen
I mean, you're that.
Have you seen the Dave Chappelle deal when he talks about the girl coming up to talk to him and the lesbian The lesbian fella, he calls it, comes up and confronts him. You stealing my bitch?
I watched every single episode of Dave Chappelle show, like in like 1 or 2 days at my buddy's house one summer. We went over to his house and we sat there and just laughed harder than we ever had at Dave Chappelle for 2 days.
He's funny because he makes fun of everybody. And
he don't
he's
care.
great. He shouldn't. He's a comedian. They shouldn't care. There should be no rules in comedy. And he's great, but he does stand up and he talks about this gal coming up to talk to him, He said, I'm trying to be polite. Hi, ma'am. How are you doing? He said, I'm just being nice. He said, all of a sudden this little lesbian fella comes up, wants to bow up at me. And it's great.
This little lesbian fella.
That's what he says. This little lesbian fella comes up, starts trying to get all mad. So
you went to North Dakota in between game fair weekends, didn't you? You hunted out there for the early season?
I did.
Y'all smacked them pretty good.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, we did. Which I don't know. Again, like it's kind of like the chucker thing. Minus I've goose hunted before. Like I didn't know what to expect, and they act like if you go out there and shoot 10 or 15, like you've had a good hunt. Not a great one, but a good one. Because apparently, in this look, I'm a duck hunter. Like I photograph a lot of geese, stuff like that, but I don't know how to hunt them. But like apparently, in this especially early season, you go out there. And you're hunting basically family groups of like however many, because they're still with them. And I guess the general consensus is they're spread out because they're still like, apart from each other. And you get one family group in, you kill them. If you get another one in, you did good.
Right.
Well, we lucked up and we just crashed a whole family reunion because we shot I want to say we shot 52 the first morning we were there. And again, I just showed up and shot. Like I didn't have any part of really, like
the X's and O's
bringing any value.
Yeah,
yeah. But the guys had the field secured. That we showed up and hunted. Which I mean, you guys are with Pacific, so like I went over there with like Zach Rutledge and Nick Johnson, and then my buddy Joey Basallo was with us. And I mean, we just met some guys over there, and we had a good time. I mean, we shot all those by like 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Kind of like teal hunting on steroids. It's just over at 8.
It really is. It's just slower, like way slower as far as them big suckers coming across the field. And like, you got to try to miss them. Like it's not, you're not like teal. They run us up pretty hard today, but like we should have been done teal hunting by 7:15, 7:30, but I was reminded that it was my first hunt, and, we didn't do that, but the geese, man, it was like you couldn't miss. I mean, you pulled up and we shot them all with under 20 yards, most of them under 15. And when you pull up and pointed a goose that big at it's over 15 yards, man, it's something magical when you hit them because they just bump. I mean, it's different. We don't have those that big down here.
Well, and it's a hard time of year too because food is not a necessity for them. So like, I mean, they can just kind of do whatever the hell they want. And, you might be in a hot grain field, but they don't really need all that protein in August. So it's tricky.
Now I will say
they'll change the script.
I will say that, well, and that's what they said, like they'll just jump around and mess you up. But I will say that I was told the reason we had a better opportunity is because we were in one of the only 2 cut wheat fields in the area.
That probably helps.
So like, oh yeah, and then like we had access to that one, another one, but like we met a guy, we saw Joey had to take a dump on the side of the road. Like it was bad. Like he was in the back of us, like getting mad at me because I wouldn't pull over. I'm like, dude, where? Like there's nothing but grass. You're gonna hold on to somebody's fence post? Like what are you doing? Anyway, we pulled over and there were some guys walking out of a field and there wasn't a single napkin in this rental car because I had my rental. And these dudes were walking out of a field with one goose that evening. We were scouting. And Joey's like, I got to ask them for some toilet paper or something. And he gets out of the car. And the dude's like, hey, this is weird, but do y'all have any toilet paper? And the guy just kind of looked at him, like, I mean, yeah, we can figure something out. And gives him like this bag of like, that blue towel that you like a roll. Well, but it was like a flat package of them, like a damn tablecloth when he pulled it out, And dude, we went up the road a little bit and found a hay bale in the ditch. Joey went, propped up on that hay bale, and just took a dump in the ditch. 3 to 4 minutes later, we're sitting there waiting on him to finish up. And the dudes that gave us all like the tablecloth towels or whatever they were, they come rolling down the road and just like Joey just waves at them. He's taking his dump on the side of the road. And it was funny, man. I've never in my life thought I'd be in a spot where we asked a stranger for some stuff to wipe our ass with, but we were. And I'm glad it was him and not me.
Yeah.
When you got to go though.
Oh, I was in a bind earlier out there trying to shoot a teal, and I had to sit down and told my buddy, I was like, man, when you're cold and shaking, it ain't good when you got to take a dump. But when you're hot and like your gut is just like boiling, it's worse. And I'm gonna tell you, I thought I was gonna have to find some clothes on the way home because it was bad.
Yeah, I've had them like that too. When you're like, God, please give me 3 minutes.
Yes.
Please, just give me 3 minutes.
Some relief.
I can see the street I live on. Just please, Lord. I had one of those.
You what?
I had one of those moments where I didn't quite make it. I mean, in the driveway. I mean, it was bad. I had clothes from my backyard, from my back fence to my back door. There was a shorts there, underwear here, going in the house. Oh, and I was like, I just use the water hose here now because I'm in big trouble. I was sick. It's a bad deal.
Gone now.
Oh, it hurt. But
that's funny.
The worst part is like whenever you're out waterfowl hunting and like, cause you're bundled up, if it's a cold day. So like you got layers to get rid of and
dude,
it's a walk.
The panic.
Yeah. Like there's several times like you're just fucking with that. Cause I wear Carhartts and like, you got to kind of like turn and twist and pull. And like you fumble with that and you're like, oh God, I'm not going to make it.
No, dude. And the panic that ensues when you try to get your belt off and it doesn't come undone the first
First try.
My God, dude. They would put me on medication if they checked my blood pressure at that point in time. I would be on whatever that stuff's called.
And then you have to make the decision when it starts getting bad as you start to approach your vehicles where you're going to post up at. Do I walk the rest of the way or do I try to jog and get there quicker? But if I jog, I might jostle something loose.
I had a guy that
always walk, Blair. Always walk.
Always clinch and walk.
I had a guy that worked for me.
Yeah, boy.
And I'm not going to say his name, but his initials are Jamie Holstein, and he had IBS or something.
Crohn's disease. And he was going to the field one time. And he stopped and ran and shit on his bumper real quick in the front where the people, they were all lined up behind him, or used his bumper as a prop and got back in his truck. He come in that morning. He told Michelle, he said, did you have onions and meatloaf last night? Yeah. You got to warn a guy if you have onions. I cannot have onions. You got to tell a guy. You got to
let me know.
He was so efficient at shitting. He could stop the procession, run to the front of his pickup, take a dump, and be back in and rolling before the last car in the line stopped completely, and nobody knew what was going on.
I'm jealous because it takes me a solid minute to get whatever I got to get out.
He was efficient.
And I'm telling you.
He was one of the he was efficient. He was one of the fastest callers on a good. I'm like he would just string together notes, and then string together, and then you just hear, and then he'd go back at it. But every once, so I grew up hunting with him. I was 12, 13, 14 years old whenever he was out here, and anytime I was with Jamie, like there was going to be a section of that hunt where it was just going to be me because you would just hear him calling, and then you would hear, Andy, you've got it. And you'd look over your shoulder and he's 75 yards away and away he would go. But then he'd be right back.
Really?
Yeah. He had shit all the time.
He
got good at it.
We got to do a podcast with him because he's probably one of the more unusual guides I ever had work for us.
Yeah.
Really a super good dude. Work ethic, was a good, very, very good hunter.
Came from a very prominent family.
Yes, he was a Silver Spoon kid. Grew up. He asked me when Payne was born, he goes, now, how long until y'all send him off to school? I said, well, probably when he's about 19, he goes to college. He goes, you mean you're not going to send him to like boarding school and like when he's 6 or 7? No, we had him. We're going to go ahead and raise him ourselves.
We're going to see this one through.
Yeah.
But he dated he dated an Olympic downhill skier.
Yep.
And she came and had Thanksgiving with us one time, and I wanted to know about another really famous Olympic athlete that I thought was gay. So during Christmas dinner, it was Christmas dinner, I asked if she was a lesbian. Boy, that was I got kicked under the table by my wife. Thought, fuck, you don't know if you don't ask.
Turns out this other prominent skier is gay.
She is gay. So and the girl was very honest with me. Yeah. She flat straight told me the girl was doing chapstick commercials, and it's a good thing she had 2 sets of lips that were getting a lot of action. It sounded like
she needed them. She put them to use.
Yes, there you go.
So she needed chapstick for both sets.
Oh yeah, yep.
So you teal hunting tomorrow also, or is this a one day deal?
Yeah, no, we're gonna go tomorrow. Man, I don't get to hunt a lot, like for myself, like really just because the way the work is now. So if I get a chance to go, whether it's gonna be good or not, I'm going. But it's gonna be good. Like I said, we should have shot way more today. We actually. So I haven't been home. I don't know the water situation. I don't know honestly at all that situation. So when we were out there today, it was just as much a scout as it was a hunt.
Yeah.
Because we had spread out yesterday looking at some other places, and I've got another spot we can hunt tomorrow. But it was just enough, the saying, "Don't leave birds to find birds." And man, like, why would we go anywhere else when there's plenty where we were at today? So we actually found a spot. They were moving around, circling, trying to go down this morning, and nobody was even close. So we're going to run into there tomorrow and try to shoot some. And yeah, I'm going to hunt tomorrow. I don't know what about Wednesday, but I may head south Thursday or Friday to try to shoot some in Venice because they're thick down there right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to hunt every day that I can because Sunday's the last day for teal.
I got a question I'm supposed to ask you, and I don't know if this is something we're going to take out of the podcast or not, but do you know Cameron Boggs?
I don't think so.
Wants me to ask you about DSD mallard floaters. There's a story here. I knew there was.
Oh, man. No, what it is, man, I get on that freaking Facebook page and I drill them and drill them and drill them about some mallard floaters. Like I don't know, like everybody's opinion is different, but nobody argues that Dave Smith makes possibly the best goose decoy on the planet, right? So like full body wise, I don't know. I mean, avians are great, Dakotas are great, like all these other ones. Dive Bomb has their thing and it's awesome. But like when it comes to full body decoys, deer, goose, turkey, you've got deception and all that stuff. But Dave Smith is at the top of the food chain, whether he sits there with somebody else or not. So I give them crap every single day that I get a chance. And randomly, they'll put like a post of a goose decoy up, and I'll just say, man, I just really wish that was mallards, or like you got me excited because I thought it was a mallard decoy getting put out. And we just go back and forth on that. And it's become a thing now. The other day, Mike, who actually runs their digital stuff, like their social, he does a lot of things for them. And he made a post, and I think it was a snow goose post with a snow goose collar. And he tagged me in the initial post, and he was like, just here to see how long it takes Wade to comment about mallards or something, and it's to the point where like I've got a rally team behind me. When I write something, people are like, they're cheering it on because everybody wants them,
Does he have floaters at all?
I think he come out with spec floaters, or he's coming out with spec floaters this year. I think that was the post was about the other day. Could be wrong, but I think and he may have some. I would assume he's got some white floaters. I don't know, because I know he's got a economical version of the whites, but I don't know about floaters. I'm pretty sure the spec's the first floaters, but if you're making spec floaters, it should be the same mold, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, wouldn't you? I'm looking on their Instagram right now. I don't see anything, but that doesn't mean anything either. But yeah, I mean, the full bodies, I mean, forget about it. It's ridiculous how good he is. Yeah,
so the Boggs name sounds familiar now that you mentioned Dave Smith, but like we get on there all the time and go back and forth because it's hilarious. And dude, like I want nothing else just to have a couple dozen of them. I mean, like we use, I carry 2 dozen decoys in my boat most of the time. Sometimes I'll put 4 or 5 early season, but late in the year, man, I mean, there's days where we only run 6 decoys.
Yeah.
I mean, depending if we're in the woods or not. So like if I could get 2 dozen of those, I'd be set.
Do you think that the deer decoy really works? I know nothing about deer hunting, so I'm not going to stick my dick in this hornet's nest.
The deer decoy?
Yeah, I don't know anything about deer hunting.
You said the deer decoy? Nah. I think it depends on how aggressive the deer are in your area. I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It wouldn't work around here. You put one of his deer decoys in where I hunt, you're scaring off every deer that's in the area because he's bigger than all of them around here anyway.
Well, that makes sense.
It's like a boss. It's like a boss tom. Like if you put a big bowed up tom out there, you're gonna scare away the younger ones, and you may only have 1 or 2 year old birds around or whatever they are. I don't know, but like you couldn't put a big boss Tom up around here more than likely because it's going to scare them away.
Right. Do you enjoy picture taking more, or do you enjoy the videography? Which one, like if you had to hang your hat on one to do the rest of your life, what would you pick?
It would be videography. If I didn't have to edit it.
Yeah.
But it would be photography from A to B, or from A to Z, because I enjoy the photography side of things and the editing isn't terrible. But when it comes to video, I just don't do. I get frustrated with the editing process just because I'm not super like, I don't know what the word is, but like I like my stuff to be super simple and I don't like to do a lot to it. So like I'm a Lightroom guy, not a Photoshop guy, if that makes sense. So same thing with video edits. If it's not easy and clean, like I don't really like fooling with it. And I say that answer because there's a lot of days I'm photographing that I see it through my camera and I'm like, man, if I could have just had that going in motion, if I could have just videoed that, it would have turned out way better and been way more impactful. But there's also days when like I'm videoing and I'm like, man, that would be a cool photo to have. But more times than not, these days, I find myself photographing and wishing I was videoing just to capture like that actually happening.
Right.
It's really tough, man. Like if I had to answer, I would have to say photography just because that's where I started and really like, I just enjoy it when it comes to like different type of settings. But the video thing is starting to grow on me a lot more.
Well, the back end, like you're saying, the back end of photography is so much easier. The post production, you can move a couple slides here and there, and like you've got a very, very good high quality picture. Fucking videos, that'll take you half a day to do if you're going to do a good one.
Yeah, and I just don't have much patience or attention span, So like, I got to be in a mood like to sit down and edit video. A whole different mood. But I mean, it works. I do it, but yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, dude, I think it would have to be the photo side of things for sure.
What pisses me off is like every platform is different on the time limits and what size video can go up. So like TikTok, you can do 10 minutes, but like nobody does. YouTube Shorts is a minute. Reels are 2 minutes on Instagram, but it's only 90 seconds on Facebook, and it's owned by the same company. And you're like,
now,
what the fuck?
But now there's no IGTV. Now everything is a reel.
Yeah, everything's a reel. So I don't know. It's
wild.
It's hard to keep up with everything. All right, my man, we're gonna let you go. We've gone over an hour now, and I'm sure you're ready for breakfast or you're ready to do something else. So we're gonna let you go. Good luck the rest of the way, and whenever you get out this way, we'd love to have you out for dinner one night and sit down and
that'd be good.
Chat it up. So good luck the rest of the season and have safe travels. All right, my friend.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Wade, thank you very much. God bless you, bud. Have a great, safe year. And if you need anything from us, you holler at us.
I will, Jeff. Thank you again, man.
All right,
hey, thank you.
Talk to you later.
Telling you, the video guys are the coolest dudes in the waterfowl industry. Interesting guys, every one of them.
Every single one of them, without fail. Is that what you're telling me?
Yep. Every one of them every one of them we've had on here has been.
Oh.
I'm sure there are some out there that are not so cool.
Oh.
They've got to have the fanboys that wear them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they get a lot of questions. What's your camera setup? What's your aperture? What's your ISO? Bunch of shit that I know nothing about.
Yeah, I don't know any of them things. If it don't,
I'm good to have those little rinky-dink camcorders going every day.
Yep. We had light go out too, Mingo.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know if it's... Oh, it's not plugged in. I didn't plug it in.
Oh, and the battery went out on it?
Yeah, they run off of a battery. So that's all. That's an easy fix.
All right. God bless y'all. I hope y'all have a great week. Thank y'all for listening to the podcast. We had another record-shattering week and going to have a record-shattering month again. So thank you very much for all the downloads. We do appreciate it. God bless you. And that's really about it, I guess.
Goodbye. Go check out our sponsors. If you're needing that four-legged critter, I would highly suggest checking out Double T British Kennels, Gundog Outdoors, Dirty Duck Coffee, Ducks Unlimited, Bangtail Whiskey, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Looking Glass Podcast, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Lucky Duck, Shin Gear Waders, Pacific Calls, Boss Shot Shells, and Dive Bomb Industries.